What is going on, Crisis Actors? This is episode 143 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here once again with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. I am always back because somebody has to almost give Brett a heart attack. You know, I just have to keep him on his toes. You know, it adds a little bit of unpredictability to your routine. That's what I'm here for.
Slam this down like it's a bottle of vodka.
It's good for you. It keeps you young. We have a $20 super chat from Shane H. Wilder. Happy Wednesday, Brett and Mary. So I pulled a Mary and pissed off the internet last night. All I did was say I'd press the blue button in the blue button, red button dilemma. I didn't see it as something controversial. So, Brett, do you know what this dilemma is?
I saw people posting about it last
this?
night. Shane, do you want to better explain it? Something like, if you press the red button, you for sure survive, but if you push the blue button, at least 50% of people have to hit. It's a stupid trolley problem. It's
the red blue button dilemma is a thought experiment popularized by Tim Urban, I don't know who that is, posing a global coordination problem where participants must privately choose between two buttons with life or death stakes. If more than 50% of people press the blue button, everyone survives. If less than 50% of people press blue, then only those who pressed red survive, while blue pressers die. Okay. So if you press red, you survive either way? Is that what they're saying?
Is that what it's saying in there? I have no idea. That's what I thought it said, but maybe I'm wrong.
Seems that way, right? Like if the blue wins, everyone wins. If red wins, red wins.
Yeah.
So, okay. Gosh, I don't know what I would do. What would you do, Brett?
I guess the instinct. Do you want to know what my honest first response was? It wasn't about what button I would press. I started thinking about The Dark Knight when they got the convicts on one boat and they got the citizens on the other boat, and they each theoretically have the button to the bomb for the other boat. And then the point of the movie was that the criminals are the ones who throw their button overboard, and then the good guys claim they're going to do it. You know, some guy steps up to do it, and then he doesn't do it because he doesn't have the stomach to do it. And I always thought that was an underrated part of the movie. That was exactly what I thought about it. I would probably hit the blue button.
It says that in the poll, 57.9% chose blue and 42.1% chose red.
There, that makes sense.
And many argue that red is the dominant strategy in game theory.
You know what? I know it's against my self-interest, but much like one of these people holding the button to another bomb, maybe podcasts were a horrible idea, and we shouldn't have people constantly positing trolley problems to everybody. We don't need a life full of constant moral dilemmas. How about you solve your own shit in your own life? Until you've solved all your personal problems, all your bills are paid, your student loans are taken care of, your car note is paid up, and your house is paid off. Then, once you get all that shit done, we'll worry about trolley problem and red button versus blue button.
Well, I don't really know my answer. I guess that means it's red, right, guys? I'm a sociopath. But thanks for a new question to ask strangers 2 minutes after I met them if I really want to annoy people.
But did you eat breakfast?
Was that the only 20 or
yes, it was. Okay. You went and answered the question there. All right, guys, hit the like button on this episode. Not the red button, not the blue button, the like button. That one you should hit every single time. Right now, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Especially if you're like me and you think questions like this are stupid. Stupid, and designed to turn human beings into nihilistic versions of themselves where they argue about humanity with no rhyme or recourse, no purpose of it whatsoever. And then share the video out with your friends, your family, and your loved ones, everybody in your life that you both love and hate. The more people that you share this show with, the less likely you are to hit the red button, apparently. That's what I think is going to happen if you hit the like button and you share the video out with everybody. So what are we getting into today? We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. We are going to talk about Olivia Wilde. The internet is dragging her. As always, they're doing so with fake, horrible comparisons. If you want to know what we're talking about, this is something that happens, especially if you spend enough time on X, as many of us do. They take a photo of a celebrity when they were younger. You know, it's like a glamour shot. It was taken on a red carpet or by a professional photographer. And then they grab a still image where they're like in the middle of making the worst facial expression ever as they're like saying something to another human being or responding to someone. And then they use that as some example of how, you know, plastic surgery is killing Hollywood or something like, and Ozempic are killing Hollywood. Certainly that stuff does happen. In this case, I think it's a horrible comparison. I don't think it's fair at all. We are going to talk about that today. We're also going to talk about
simp for Olivia Wilde.
We are. I'm going to simp for a world in which you at least make a fair comparison. Some people disagreed with me when I posted photos that were at least actual photos and not screenshots from somebody's iPhone taken with the fisheye lens turned on. And they disagreed with me on the point, and that's fine, but we'll have that discussion. We're also going to talk about Clavicular once again. There are people who are positing that his whole rise to fame is an AstroTurf campaign by Kick, I guess, to build subscribers and relevance. It's kind of interesting.
It goes much deeper than that. It's actually quite dark when you look further into Kick and Stake and their business practices and the people who are in charge behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It's a whole other world out there that people are not paying attention to. And we're not even going to scratch the surface today, but it's fascinating. I find it fascinating, at least.
Olivia Dasovic is in the chat and says, the Olivia he simps for is me. That is correct. That is the Olivia that I simp for.
No, we're not simping then. We're white knighting.
So we are going to talk about that, Clavicular. Also, Sydney Sweeney is winning back the good graces of both the left and the right. This time, not with her chest, but with her forehead that apparently actually moves, which is a rarity in Hollywood.
Her iconic forehead. Yes. This is a rare trait these days, having a forehead that moves, having a face that moves. What a concept.
Also, I posed a question for everybody. If you were watching live, this is for you, not for you if you were listening on the audio platforms. But we did ask the question, is it pronounced oots or uts? I spelled it differently, so you can let us know. I believe it's uts. That's my personal belief.
This is our button dilemma today, actually.
So that's what we're going to talk about. If you pick uts, everybody who pronounces it lives. But if you say it's oots, then only over 50% of the people who say oots, they survive, but everybody else doesn't. Oh my God. All right.
If you say oots, like, I don't even have words for you. How do you even exist? I don't understand how we're the same species.
Exactly. We've got a 20 here from Sweeney Wilder. He says, my choice came from Catholic moral teachings of trying to preserve life and to be selfless. My opinion is either way, I win. If I live, cool. If I die, well, there is something better after this life. And I tried to save people.
You know what? You've converted me. I am now going to press the blue button. I think I just don't like the color blue as much as I like red, so that's why I was biased.
You know, it's kind of like the meme where it's like, have you ever seen like the memes where it's like, it's Morpheus and it's like, you can have the red pill or the blue pill, and he starts explaining it and the guy just takes both. And
what happens then?
Starts tripping balls. So like if I hit both of them, what happens? That's the real question. So, all right, we've got a bunch of other stuff to get into. If you're ready, we can go. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go for it then.
So it was in December of last year that Angel Studios released the first trailer for their animated movie that was adapted from George Orwell's Animal Farm. And now the time has finally come for its debut weekend. It has been mired in controversy ever since the announcement and its association with Seth Rogen, Andy Serkis, people who do not align for the most part with Angel Studios and their target audience, who are mostly conservative and strongly anti-communism. And they feel that it has been rewritten and bastardized in order to actually twist the message in favor of communism. We can't really speak to that because we haven't seen the movie, but we can judge based off of just what they've said about it. And also based on the fact that Angel Studios is apparently paying influencers to give it positive reviews possibly without even having seen the movie themselves.
To be fair, I mean, most of this does include the hashtag, like, animal farm partner. Whenever you see these, the least you can say about it is that, or the most you can say about it perhaps is, like, at least they put in the fact that it was like some type of partnership, because they've done this before with Angel Studios movies. I know more than a few people who have done that, and they never got any ire in the past because they tended to be either movies that people liked or didn't care enough about to check out to see if their written review lined up with whether it was actually good or not. So, at least including the hashtag lets you know that it's a paid advertisement. That's fine.
Yes, it appears that Riley Gaines is the only conservative influencer who has posted about this and actually kept the post up on her page with that disclosure hashtag, animal farm partner. She said, with a clip attached, "My husband and I got an early access screening to Animal Farm, an animated adaptation of George Orwell's novel made by Angel Studios. Incredibly well done. They do a perfect job of reminding viewers that Marxism always has and always will fail. In theaters, May 1st. And she got a ton of backlash for posting this and is still receiving backlash. Tim actually responded and said, "Honest question, Riley. No disrespect. But did you copy and paste this from a sponsor script?" And, based on that, I think Wall Street Journal report or Washington Post report from just a few months ago, like, this is a common phenomenon for conservative influencers. They get scripts sent to them, they get literal memos of what to post, and they get paid for it. It's pretty clear that that's what's happening, but it wouldn't be grounded in any evidence to claim that Riley hasn't seen the movie herself and made her own judgment on it. She just has a different viewpoint than Tim and seemingly everyone else. He also quote tweeted this post and said, "Riley's post paid for, hence the partner tag. The new Animal Farm is about happy animals sold off after a farmer can't pay his mortgage. One pig gets in credit card debt and agrees to sell the farm in a private equity deal to Elon Musk's mom, who then builds a hydroelectric dam on the property, so the animals rebel and plant explosives, which blow up the dam, killing all her employees. Not a single analog or comment on Marxism, let alone communism."
Let me in on this. I'm the one who keeps complaining about private equity these days.
And Andy Serkis, he's the director, correct?
Yes.
Or is he the script writer?
He's in the movie as well, but I believe he's the director of this film.
So Andy Serkis is the mind behind this adaptation of the story, and another reply pointed out that he is historically identified with left-wing politics and was a member of the Socialist Workers' Party in the UK during the 90s. Peachy Keenan said, "Angel Studios has done some good things, but I'm afraid this one gets a hard pass. The director is an open socialist who hates Trump and conservatives, and on record that he changed the story to be a critique of capitalism, not communism. It stars far left-wing fanatics who hate us like Seth Rogen, and the transgender individual from Orange is the New Black, turning Orwell's brilliant and terrifying metaphor into a literal farm with kid-friendly animated cute animals is a crime against literature and children. This movie is going to wreck them. Unfortunately, I advise staying out of the blast zone." And that comment from Andy Serkis that was referenced there about, making it into a critique of capitalism, I believe comes from Newsweek. They put a statement from a spokesperson for Angel Studios in this article saying, "There are 4 facts about the film to get straight. Angel is the distributor of this film, not its producer nor creative control. 2, Angel Guild members viewed the film and voted heavily to support it. 3, while the title is the same as the book, updates were made to make it relevant to a broad-based, values-centric, family-friendly audience. And 4, this is an anti-communism film, and the Angel Guild will ensure that it stands by the principles of our members." So there was their statement, but then this is Andy Serkis's comment. It says, "Serkis approached the adaptation by asking himself what Orwell would write about if he wrote Animal Farm today. He didn't want it to be a story about Stalinist Russia. Instead, he gravitated toward themes of capitalism, wealth, and overconsumption. The billionaire antagonist, Pilkington, Glenn Close is the voice actor, drives what closely resembles a Cybertruck. So it seems to be an on-the-nose reference to Elon Musk.
His mom.
Same way that Tim referenced in his quote tweet. So, of course, we haven't seen the movie, and we don't have our own personal opinions about it yet. I don't know if I even will bother seeing it, because a lot of people say it's not worth the trouble. But based on everything that we know so far,
it's the same. Well, it's the same annoying thing that happens all the time. If I'm to assume, like, I saw comments. There are people in Tim's comments section saying that they walked away from the movie getting the complete opposite take. Sure, whatever. But if I'm gonna take them at their word, Andy Serkis at his word, and even Tim at his word, that it's a critique of capitalism, like, can we just fall back on this old chestnut, which is like, then why even call it Animal Farm? Why not make your own movie? About, like, you're literally just gutting the soul of the book or the source material for the sake of changing the politics of it. That's not the whole point of adaptation. If anything should stand for, like, if you want to change the costumes, if you want to change the animals, if you want to change some names, that's one thing. But changing the heart and soul of a production, and I'm talking about any production, then call it something different. But then that gets into the even worse mentality of it, is that it is actually the capitalist nature of the industry that forces them to do this, which is that the capitalist business wouldn't approve them to make a movie with a different name, because you can't sell it based on another name. You can't sell it based on what? Pig Farm, about
ironic,
the anti-capitalist movie Pig Farm.
Or Farm Animal.
Or Farm Animal, because you have to be pro-capitalism and sell the movie to distributors, ironically enough. So I find all of that more interesting. Also, like, there should be some middle ground between, like, I don't want to live in the world where it's either communist centralized planning and just you're gutted and your life is ruined by private equity owning all the hospitals. It feels like there should be a middle ground there. Ironically enough, I suppose that would have been general liberalism, but we're not going to go back to that, it seems like. We're going to keep pushing speeding in one direction or the other right off of a cliff, and all of this is just very annoying. It is ironic that capitalism is what prevents them from making a movie about being anti-capitalist on their own, as opposed to just taking somebody else's story.
Very true. And some people are reading this as a cynical money grab from Angel Studios because it has so many big names attached to it. It was similar in the case of David, although most people had positive things to say about the David movie. It had a lot. It was a stacked cast, and it wasn't a film that was produced by Angel Studios. They were again, similarly to this situation, its distributor. And it was the same for Sound of Freedom too. They were not the producers of Sound of Freedom. It was originally going to be Fox, right?
I don't know. Oh, yes, yeah. It was originally produced by Fox, and then Disney squashed it once they purchased 20th Century Studios or whatever, if I remember correctly. So there is
some baggage involving the talent that you can't really do anything about, other than, pass on the opportunity entirely, which they probably made the value judgment that it was good for the company, without anticipating this level of backlash. And now people are jumping on this to rewrite history. This ex-user Joe Wrote joined the conversation back in December after the trailer came out and said, Animal Farm is a critique of capitalism. The pigs, Stalinists, become equal to the humans, capitalists. I cannot believe how many people didn't understand its clear message. And this person was promptly community noted. Orwell wrote an introduction to Animal Farm rarely published and clearly states that the pigs represent the vanguard of the Soviet Revolution and Stalin in particular. And the redheaded libertarian Josie also quote tweeted this and said, on the contrary, in the preface to the Ukrainian issue of Animal Farm, George Orwell explains that his experiences during the Spanish Civil War, where he witnessed Stalinist purges, motivated him to critique how socialist revolutions could be hijacked by socialist authoritarians. So there is just not really any room to argue that it wasn't intended to critique Stalinism and communism. That's just not up for debate. I guess what is up for debate is whether Angel Studios intended it this way. It seems like they are backing away from the conversation, though, based on the fact that they're not willing to debate Tim. seemingly.
They could have just called the movie Pigpen. They could have just called it Pigpen and made their own movie.
Tim said Animal Farm debate was canceled as no one from the production team or Angel Studios could make it. Long story short, the film is a critique of modern capitalist systems. The animals rebel against Elon Musk's mom and a pig that sold the farm in a private equity deal, then kill all of her employees.
Wait, can we do a new version where they rebel against David Ellison this time? And instead of Paramount buying the farm, Paramount ends up having their company overthrown by the farm animals on the WB farm?
Well, let's just make everything more simple and piss off everybody. So Paramount buys Angel Studios. How about that? Then everyone's upset.
Not me. I would love that. That would be hilarious. Like I'm just laughing as the world comes under the Ellison's family control, because it's just like seems about right? Like that's
their tentacles are everywhere.
They're gonna own everything. Do they own any hospitals and they only play Paramount movies in the hospital? Like you're not allowed to watch any Disney movies after recovering from surgery. You have to watch Ellison approved movies, which means like Tom Cruise. And then the Harry Potter movies from Warner Brothers, because they just purchased Warner Brothers.
Yeah, it's a contentious issue.
All right, let's move on. We've got more stuff to get into.
Yeah. So I love moments when fashion and politics collide. So this story was right up my alley. I think it also perfectly illustrates the way that the left is able to manipulate every conversation in their favor. So instead of talking about the fact that a leftist radical showed up to kill the president at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, we're talking about the Temu dress that was worn by Pete Hegseth's wife on the red carpet. Due to the opinion of an 18-year-old socialist Nepo baby on Twitter who posted a screenshot of the dress from the Temu website. It's available for, I think it says 12 euros. I don't know the conversion rate there, but essentially all you need to know is that it's dirt cheap compared to a brand new dress from a department store, which you would expect to be worn on a red carpet. And people are saying this demonstrates that, socialists are actually capitalist elitists in disguise. Here's the thing. I don't think it is elitist to care about wearing high quality, long lasting, beautiful, comfortable clothing. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that it's necessarily anyone's position to morally grandstand about it at the same time. Least of all, an 18-year-old Nepo baby whose socialist views are merely a form of teenage rebellion against her rich parents who got her a job in the fashion industry in the first place. So this girl's name is Ella Devi, and she has made a name for herself as a so-called hot girl for Zoran. And she did, in fact, campaign for Zoran Mamdani in New York. She is sort of making herself into a political figure online, using fashion as a weapon for her political ends instead of being interested in it for its own sake. So she got a lot of backlash for this take. She's mocking Pete Hegseth's wife and then compares her to a CNN journalist, Caitlin Collins. She said, CNN reporter Caitlin Collins sartorially mogs Pete Hegseth's wife's Temu dress in a pink strapless sculptural Magda Butrym midi dress. Magda Butrym is a cool girl brand worn by everyone from Pamela Anderson to Hailey Bieber. And it just obviously comes off as incredibly hollow and hypocritical coming from a self-proclaimed socialist. She actually calls herself a socialist socialite. And it's working. Her strategy is working. She did end up in this spread in the New York Post. Lefty cheap shot mocks Hegseth's wife's Shein style. And she even posted it on her account saying, in America, if you make fun of Pete Hegseth's wife for wearing a $14 Temu dress to a White House dinner, they initiate a smear campaign against you in the right-wing press. But they chose the best possible picture of me too. Like, I can't even complain about this. So she's not taking it too seriously. She has admitted, by the way, that her parents are wealthy on TikTok. That is confirmed to be true, though we could have guessed it ourselves based on the context. She claims to be an expert on the matter, on all matters of fashion. She is the socialist fashion police because she herself works in the high fashion industry in some undisclosed capacity, which, you know, I'll translate for you. If you are 18 years old and have a job in the fashion industry in New York City and have a place to live and clothes on your back and food on the table, you 100% got that job through your rich, connected parents. There is no meritocratic way to make that happen without living in an illegal apartment with no windows with 8 other people and living off of ramen. That is just not a thing that happens through any other means. So yeah, she has no clue what people, like, what money means, basically. Like, okay, for instance, Pete Hegseth, I believe his net worth is estimated at like $3 million or something. He's a well-to-do man, as is his wife. They're not on the level of like celebrities who have full-time professional stylists. Certainly.
Especially not where they like where do they live, in DC? Like, if they're living in DC, the $3 million isn't even all that much.
Yeah, so I mean, they are basically just upper middle class. So she's expecting Met Gala attire at the White House Correspondents' Dinner from Pete Hegseth's wife, who didn't ask for any of this.
He could have really set her off by wearing a 3-button suit rather than a 2-button suit. Everybody knows that 3-button suits haven't been in decades.
This is just really sad. She's also criticized what Erica Kirk wore to the Correspondents' Dinner, but promptly deleted that tweet. Probably realized that was a bad idea. And she also has trashed Caroline Leavitt for wearing a $4,800 Louis Vuitton bag and posting a selfie in it. She said at the time, this was back in January, "Why does the right have such bad taste?" Okay, here are her explanations. "Much of right-wing cultural production is reactive, which is an aesthetic dead end. B, good taste comes from ambiguity impossible to have with a worldview that depends on imposed hierarchies with gender and race. And C, taste is cultivated against power."
Okay, I don't know what B and C mean, but she's right about A.
Why do you say that?
Like, if we're talking about production as in everything when it comes to right-wing circles, it is reactive to the left. Even when they're in power, their entire dynamic is to be a reaction to what's going on the left. One of the reasons there's so much infighting right now is there isn't enough to react to. Therefore, they have to start reacting to each other. It is reactive by its very nature. The rest of that was all just mum word salad, and I don't know what any of that means. I don't know what race and gender have to do with good taste and ambiguity. I don't understand what that means.
Good taste comes from her professors, probably.
Good taste comes from ambiguity, impossible to have with a worldview. Like, okay, so I was just reading something the other day where people were talking about traveling, and they said one of the things they found most interesting was that when you went to foreign countries, they wear designer labels much bigger and more obvious. Is that because they're in a country that doesn't have to deal with the racial and gender-based dynamics that America does? I'm confused.
I would agree with you on the first point.
I don't know what any of the rest of it means. I don't have a point to the other two.
She was on the money with that one, but the other points are just word salad that she learned from her professors at college. No doubt. I don't think she would be able to explain this.
Louis Vuitton is a mainstream high fashion brand. So taste is cultivated against power. So Louis Vuitton has all the power. Because they're like, wouldn't the opposite? Wouldn't she want them to be wearing some type of brand you've never heard of then? Right. Or does it only count when it's talking about race and gender? That seems very limiting if you're coming to an oppressive worldview.
The first point just reminds me of like our conversation about the Turning Point halftime show. It is purely reactive, usually when right-wingers attempt to produce any sort of cultural output and have any cultural impact. It's usually reactive to the left and therefore hollow. but the other points are just mumbo jumbo bullshit. And this is her response to someone saying that she is directionally correct that right-wing women have a taste problem, consistently frumpy, dowdy, but her analysis stops at they're bad people, therefore they have bad taste, which betrays a fundamental incuriosity on her part. She has no interest in why these women dress this way.
But I refuse to believe that every left-wing person that she, unless her point is that you're, like, if you're a left-wing ideologue, you're a good person, even if you're abusive to a family member. You know what I mean? Like, she has to like at least somebody on the left who's a bad person, who also happens to have great fashion sense. I'm sure that there's plenty of people like that. Or does that just stop at the political line? And then after that, it doesn't matter how awful you are, as long as you are a lefty.
Well, this is why I think this girl has no organic interest in fashion. It's just something that she has chosen as a battering ram against her perceived ideological enemies. And another sign that that is the case is her trashing a designer named Elena Velez, who we talked about earlier this year when she showed off her collection using Clavicular as a model. She is also associated with a lot of other sort of right-wing adjacent dissident voices. And in reaction to that, Ella Devi said, Elena Velez is a disgusting freak for constantly offering her throat to the Nazi right wing so they can stick their boots on it. We need to shame people who attend her shows and shame the stylists who put talent in her garments.
It seems weird that
this is not someone who is genuinely interested in fashion.
It
like,
feels,
other than to instrumentalize it for her own worldview.
It feels contrary that they believe that the right has all the power. Well, you know, like I said, the boot. But at the same time, they're reactive. How can you be reactive if you have all the power? If you have all the power, then everybody would be reacting to you.
Right,
it's
like
a tacit.
Is she aware that a socialist runs her city?
It's a tacit admission that they understand that no matter who's in office, the cultural power is all left-wing or left-wing adjacent, whether that's every other administration, except for when it, I tend to be hesitant these days. I think the speed in which social media moves now, I don't know if we're ever going to see a two-term consecutive president again. Like I think it's possible because information travels too fast, sentiment changes too quickly. But in general,
that's an interesting point.
Even your police officers now are at the behest of lunatic leftist mayors and governors, and they're prevented from doing their jobs. They dismantle broken windows policing. Your colleges are all socialist hellholes. Like, where is the right-wing power outside of Trump in his second term, where then everybody's mad at him for actually exercising power? Unlike every other right-wing president who just kind of, outside of the war machine, is just putting liberalism at a slower pace than they normally do.
Yeah, it's odd that she's using her platform to trash MAGA women for their fashion choices when they are not encroaching on her territory at all.
And for the most part, I thought the joke was always that all the Fox women come off the same assembly line, wearing the same two dresses, and looking the exact same all the time.
I mean, the left has a uniform too. I suppose that she just subjectively prefers it more, but they have uniforms just the same way that right-wing women do.
So what's the real? So Sharon in the chat says, so back to the dress. What's the real commentary on the dress? Is it that she bought it from overseas? Slave labor?
So these are garments that are really made for wearing them once and throwing them away.
Oh, really?
I mean, that is kind of true.
Me and my white t-shirts have been vindicated.
I agree with her in principle that, like, it is wasteful to buy something just for the purpose of wearing it once, knowing that it's essentially made of garbage. Like, it is garbage material. It feels terrible to wear it. And usually people buy these things for photos and not to wear in their everyday lives. I agree with the principle that it's best to invest in long-lasting, high-quality things and to actually respect the things that you own, and treat them well, like take care of your own possessions, whether it's something you wear or something you use on a daily basis. But she is also not acknowledging that like some people are not interested in fashion and never will be because it's just not the way they think. She's not recognizing that high quality clothing that is made of natural materials is increasingly rare to find, and the price point is often outrageous, even when you buy it secondhand, which is what she's telling people to do.
This is how I felt when I found out you could recharge your cell phone. I thought you just had to replace them every time the battery died.
Yeah, I was throwing out
it away.
At least one Samsung Galaxy a week.
I was like, I kept the SIM card, but I just kept throwing the phone out, and I thought that's what you did.
And I do want to push back on some of the conservatives that are clapping back at her because they think that wearing or buying expensive clothing is inherently elitist and shallow. I don't agree with that. If you're doing it for the right reasons, because you genuinely like something, it genuinely appeals to you and like lifts your spirits to look at it. And if you plan on keeping it and taking care of it instead of throwing it away or stuffing it at the back of your closet and never looking at it again, I don't think that's elitist. And I generally also would discourage people from buying from fast fashion companies, which of course do use slave labor and horrible materials that are like, they are unsustainable. I know that's like a kind of a lefty buzzword, people who believe in like climate change and stuff, but it is true. And like, I do want to just concede that point, but she obviously isn't speaking out about this out of some like moral principle of hers. It's just mean girl vibes, you know, dressed up as a, you know, her moral high ground.
You get what you pay for, right?
She doesn't actually care.
Like you get what you pay for most of the time. Like you mentioned the materials. Like, so for me, most of my life, I bought like 2 for whatever price glasses, you know, from like Lens Crafters, because I didn't have the money to buy nice glasses, and I bought nice glasses one time, and to this day, just now, the hinges on the stems are finally starting to loosen after like 3 years. Like when I close these glasses, there's still like resistance against it, which is like, that's the first thing to go when you buy cheap glasses, is the stems start flopping around everywhere. So you really do get what you pay for when you buy something, when you buy something nice.
This is something I was talking about with Libby on her podcast. There has been a growing quality problem even from formerly reputable brands. You can go into a department store and find plenty of things that are multiple hundreds or maybe even thousands of dollars that are made of the same crap with the same shitty construction as something that's $12 on Shein. Like, that is a problem. So sometimes you actually are not getting even close to what you're paying for. That's why I like wear clothes that used to belong to my mom and buy stuff secondhand that was made like, you know, prior to the smartphone era. Yeah. Because these like formerly reputable, like slow brands have had to adapt to competing with fast brands. And in doing so, destroyed the quality of their output.
It's funny because like I used to buy shirts and pants from H&M, and the quality used to be much better back in the early 2000s than it eventually later became. Don't buy any of it anymore. I mean, like literally all I buy is like the same. Even the shirts that I buy, which everybody kind of makes fun of because of the necks on them or whatever, like you get runs that are completely different levels of quality. So I can buy a black or a gray shirt, and one of them, first of all, the material looks different, even though you're buying the same one. And like for some of them, neck doesn't stretch out at all. Because remember, I don't like put any shirts in the dryer. I air dry everything, which is probably why it doesn't shrink back up, which causes them to stretch. Some of them stay really well, other ones don't, and there's no real way of like there was a point where I was like talking to Olivia, I'm like, I found a new shirt, really liked it. By the time I bought another one of it, because I'd rather just own multiple of something and then not have to buy more later, it already fit different.
It's very opaque, and it's taking more and more mental labor to find things that are quality and actually last and are comfortable to wear, which is why, you know, perhaps Pete Hegseth's wife just doesn't have the mind share for it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like the baseline quality of, you know, formerly reliable, even mall brands like Forever 21 has like plummeted in recent years, especially since around like 2015 when people started really buying the majority of their clothes online.
You know who's the original brand to really sell stuff that you thought might be cool but ended up shit was a company called Rue 21, which just made the absolute, even I'm talking back in like 2005. That like you'd get like a jacket that zipped up and that you'd open it and the pockets would be flapping around and you basically could see through it and the material was shit.
Yeah, but that's everything now. That's kind of the problem. Like you really can't escape it unless you're looking like deep into the bowels of like eBay for stuff that people are getting rid of.
I went on the search for I went on a search at one point for a Merona cardigan that Target made in like 2007 that I bought when I worked there and ended up finding it because I had the same one for over 10 years and I left it in Minnesota when I moved and it's gone. So I had to go find another one and I found it in an XL and it was too big. I can't find it in a large. So
this is the way. Yeah, if you have the mental energy to dedicate to it, find the stuff you really like.
All right, let's move on. What would you like to see, cringe or cute of the day?
Let's see the cute first this time.
Okay, by the way, guys, I did put up a new post for everybody requesting to have you guys share your pets with us here. I said, I'm once again asking for you to submit your photos for cute of the day. I'm going to put this in the live chat here today. So Bernie is right there asking for you to submit your pets for cute of the day. I know you want to brag about them, but let's go through some of these. This one is from Charlene. This is from the last one. This is from back in January. I'm just getting to the end of the last submissions. It says, this is Zuko and Azula. They love the show.
Aww. I love the name choices. Very cute cats.
Got a couple more from them.
I like the flash photography too.
Yep.
That usually freaks them out.
Oh,
very cute.
And then one more from Cookie. Cookie Don says, playing in the garden bed that I redid recently. It's,
oh my gosh, I almost thought that was another cat, like in the foreground.
In the foreground.
Yeah, very.
Oh, there's two of them there.
Be careful. Right. He's gonna eat them.
All right, cringe of the day. Let's hope it actually plays. Here we go. It's a picture of Van Gogh's Starry Night, and it says, what is this painting?
Starry Night? Is it famous?
Are you serious? That's one of the most famous paintings in the world.
Really?
It's Van Gogh. You're kidding?
Van who?
That's like not knowing the Mona Lisa.
It doesn't look that special to me. Is it by a child or an adult?
Is this a joke?
No.
Is there a camera?
No.
Oh, is he wearing meta glasses?
Probably.
Are you serious? Wow.
What is it?
Just a reminder, you can rage bait people in real life.
This woman, you know what it is? You know what this is? This is like her husband hired this guy to do that after she's like, why do you like Lord of the Rings? I don't get it. He's like, what, you don't like Lord of the Rings? And she's like, what is that? Like, is it like a book? Like, I don't know.
Lord of the Who?
Okay. All right, let's move on. We've got more stuff to get into. Let's talk about the absolute it's not character assassination. There is image assassination going on against Olivia Wilde right now, and it must be addressed.
Olivia Wilde is getting absolutely dragged on X right now because in a recent interview, she looks different in a bad way. I'm not gonna lie about that. She definitely was filmed from a very unflattering angle and unflattering lighting, and she's wearing an unflattering hairstyle. There's a lot of unfortunate things happening in this video.
It was already set.
We should have been paying attention to her interview about her upcoming movie that she's directing and starring in, but instead all of the attention was focused on her appearance.
It's literally, so it's not just like, it looks like if this is filmed on an iPhone, which it could have been, it's literally like they scrolled back on the focal length until it was into the fisheye territory, and then they're literally holding it low under the nose. So it's just faintly pointed upwards, which makes the forehead look like they could put it down like this. So it's looking more downwards at the eye line, and it would look totally different.
You know what? Maybe red carpet interviewers are going to start using the Meta glasses instead of cameras.
That would be even worse. They would never do that. You can't control where your head goes. Like there would be a learning curve there for people to do that.
But yeah, she's looking a little rough in this, and people are taking screenshots and comparing it to other photos of her from back in the day, usually from the 2010s. I'm seeing a lot of comparisons from her in the 2010s to now, like this one.
Again, this is my main issue with this. They never do a one-to-one comparison of them in two photos. The one on the left looks like it was taken from a red carpet appearance, or maybe she's on stage at some type of conference. She's probably one of those women that's always at a women's conference somewhere. But the point is, she looks generally like she's posing for a photo or smiling at somebody. And then the one on the right, she's either actively listening to someone, which means you're making a face when you're actively listening, or she's worse is when they're mid-word. And they take these screenshots. One was from an actual camera, like a DSLR or a mirrorless, and the other one's taken from a video screenshot, which is not the same thing. And if you're gonna dunk on them, fine, but at least do a fair comparison. That's all I'm asking.
She's like, yeah, so that's why we filmed it in San Francisco. The movie is kind of a love letter to San Francisco, actually. And sorry, what was the question? Like, yeah, so the captions read, Olivia Wilde looks like a medical cadaver come to life. Ozempic is ruining women.
Here was my
next one said, what the hell is going on in Hollywood at the moment?
I did pull some screenshots like from the same event. I didn't like, you could find even different ones from earlier in the year that were even less extreme, but this is from the same event. She has always had somewhat hollow cheekbones. Yes. This was always what she looked like. She is wearing a hairstyle that, yes, probably isn't the most flattering thing for her, but she's
above that. She's a director now.
She looks completely normal.
She's above glamour now. She's an auteur.
This is the one that really works, because both photos, again, the photo they posted here is her making like an opened mouth smile, which changes your facial structure, compared to this, which is just like they literally scrubbed for the worst possible screenshot and then took it.
It wasn't that hard, but yes. I agree with you. People just have brain worms now. Another tweet said, first, Angelina Jolie showed up looking like the ghost of her former self, and now Olivia Wilde looks as if she's been overdoing the GLP-1.
And this was
What is happening to these actresses?
Edited photos.
This photo is not a real photo of Angelina Jolie. It was edited using AI software. You can see in the video where we covered this, we compared it to the real screenshot from the video, and she does not look like that. She looks like she's jet lagged, but she doesn't look like this. We have a
big super chat here from Botanic Stone to Brett and Mary. Hugh and Diana, aka our adopted kids, we support off screen because our families are all liberals, saying orange guy unalive or something like that. Go eat some bueno tacos, you guys.
I'm so lost.
I have no idea what any of that means. Am I Hugh? Wait, are you saying that we are Hugh and Diana in this case, or are Hugh and Diana your adopt? I'm so confused right now. But thank you for the super chat.
I think people are just incentivized to be intellectually dishonest, especially when it comes to image conversations on X. They just want ad revenue. Like that's truly the only explanation I can come up with, because there is no way that anyone actually believed that was a real photo of Angelina Jolie. Like, you are lying. And it's annoying. And you know what else? It was the same thing with Margot Robbie, and you guys covered that. I believe on a Tuesday or a Thursday.
Well,
so
okay, look at this.
But it's the same thing with Margot Robbie. These two women, Olivia Wilde and Margot Robbie, and plenty of other actresses, they have naturally hollow cheekbones. And due to usually aging, which happens to everyone, they become more prominent over time. But that is a genetic trait, and it is considered an attractive trait, which is why so many actresses have it. Yes, buccal fat removal was a trend for a short period of time, but no, they're not. We cannot owe this screenshot of Olivia Wilde or of Margot Robbie to buccal fat removal or Ozempic or Botox or whatever else is the trending image topic of the day.
So she's older than me by a couple of years. Olivia Wilde is. So I was just looking at earlier. She was born in 1984. So somebody said she looks fine, and then they posted this photo. And then somebody somebody posted this photo here and said she looks completely normal from this angle. And then somebody said, sure, completely normal. And then posted this photo from when she was 22.
It's just like, can we all like just relax for a minute? Like everybody gets older, okay? She clearly has not gotten extensive work done on her face. I think that is clear. She does a different style of makeup, I guess, and changed her hair color, but she has not gotten extensive plastic surgery. That much is evident. And usually, you know, people should think that's a positive thing that we should celebrate, right? Like we don't want people to mutilate themselves under the knife.
I'm getting my buccal fat removal here soon. Don't worry, guys.
But it's like you only get credit for staying natural when
you say you're going to.
You're in your 20s and are predicting what you're going to decide later on. It's not that you'll never get credit for staying natural and aging gracefully when you actually do it.
Even
you only get credit for that when you're in your 20s and it hasn't caught up with you yet. And I think that's bullshit.
And I have my own critiques. I will be completely honest. For instance, I critique the activist side of it, which is that I criticized Hillary Burton for letting her hair go gray and then talking about how she was letting her hair go gray, which I just felt was very media trained and kind of lame.
Performative.
It was performative. Same with Pamela Anderson for the whole I'm not wearing makeup to the premiere thing, which is like she's like purposely wearing no eye makeup, and I'm like, it's purely for the activist in you to be able to say, look at me, I'm aging naturally, when normal people who age naturally still wear makeup to red carpets.
I'm just I'm trying to point out the irony between the fact that like all of these, you know, engagement bait posts are decrying what Ozempic, Botox, and plastic surgery have supposedly done to actresses, but the examples they're using to decry those things are actresses who like actually have not used those interventions.
So don't worry, guys.
Most of the time.
When I turn 40, I am going to first get all the wrinkles just pulled out this year when I turn 40, and I'm going to get my eyes separated.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Can I so for my 40th birthday, can I get an eye separation procedure so that they're farther apart? Is that a thing? Can they widen my eyes?
They've made some major innovations in plastic surgery, but they have not figured out a way to actually move your eyeballs to a different position in your skull yet. That's still in development at the moment. They're still doing R&D on that.
They can get rid of my wrinkles and get rid of my eyes being so close together. I would love that.
Look, I want people to understand that like nobody is going to stay natural if they get this kind of response for doing so. They're merely incentivizing the same things, the same practices that are supposedly to blame for this. Now, this is another post that got a bunch of attention, calling them the 4 horsemen of the Hollywood actress apocalypse. Erin Moriarty, Jenna Ortega, Kelly Osbourne, and Olivia Wilde, these side-by-side comparisons of supposedly before and after getting surgeries. And here's why it's so difficult to have a conversation about this, because obviously Erin Moriarty has gotten work done.
But she's still steadfast that is not true and that it's Graves' disease.
she's lying, but you know, whatever. Jenna Ortega, I am convinced, has gotten zero work done.
You think it's mostly the eyebrows?
Weird things to her makeup, and the first image that you're seeing there is one from when she was 15 years old. So of course she has less fat in her face, you know, in her 20s compared to when she is a child. Kelly Osbourne, okay, severe weight loss, probably also injections in her face, Botox, fillers, and the like. She has undergone extensive alterations to her appearance. Of course, that is indisputable. But Olivia Wilde, I mean, I think this is just what a woman looks like 15 years apart. This is just what happens to people. Like, gravity comes for us all, people. If Olivia Wilde went to a plastic surgeon or an esthetician, and I swear I'm not saying this to throw shade at her, they, being, you know, businessmen, would pitch her on the procedures that would make her look better. And one of them would be, here's what we can do to reduce the appearance of your under eye bags. But clearly she has not sought out the advice of a plastic surgeon because she still has them. So what are we even doing here? Like, why are we even commenting? I'm not even saying it's mean. It's just like, which, I mean, it is mean for the record, but it's also just dishonest. And it's counterintuitive to their stated goal, which is encouraging women to age gracefully and naturally instead of intervening.
Yeah. Yep. I'm also, once they spread my eyes farther apart, I'm going to have them make them both one color too, so that they're not different colors.
No, don't do that.
They'll both be hazel.
I swear, these quack doctors that are trying to give people eye color surgeries should be in jail.
That
is
is crazy.
Absolutely disgusting, and it's harrowing looking at the before and after photos of the eye color surgeries.
Yeah.
It also like often causes blindness and permanent injury.
That'd have been funny if that's what they said to like
it.
Daniel Radcliffe. He's like, I don't want to wear contacts. They're like, well, we're paying you like $70 million, so it's that or the eye color surgery. You pick.
That
Harry is gonna have his mom's green eyes, whether he, you know, and if a couple of actors have to die, that's a risk we're willing to take.
So a couple of actors have to go blind. Yeah. That's the cost of making movies. That's just showbiz, baby.
All right. All right. Oh yeah, don't forget. Yes, I will get the leg extensions as well. Don't worry about that. All right, let's move on.
So if you're just paying attention to your TikTok or Instagram or X For You page algorithm, you would think that Clavicular is the next big thing, one of the most famous people on the planet, one of the most famous influencers to ever do it. But according to a new report from Bloomberg, that is not true. His entire platform is being paid for and manufactured by third parties who are interested in their own financial ends. So this was written by Cecilia D'Anastasio at Bloomberg, and I also found a couple of her related pieces about Mr. Beast, social media marketing, online gambling marketing, and it is a very dark world, but Clavicular is just the face of it. Manosphere influencer Clavicular is everywhere, and that's not an accident. A paid marketing campaign is spreading video clips of his controversial antics across social media. So here they go into detail, saying that he is relatively new to the influencer life, but after just about a year posting on his main accounts, this figure has been the subject of profiles in the New York Times, The Atlantic, GQ, The Guardian, and 60 Minutes Australia, and more. Everyone is they're churning out think pieces about what it all means for society. And
next, we're going to have to ask him whether he wants to hit the red button or the blue button.
It's all about like what he represents, his ideology and his fans and everything. But they're massively overstating his actual reach and his actual influence and the organic interest in his content. According to this report, between March and April, 70,000 clips of Clav's content have been viewed 2.2 billion times across short-form video platforms like TikTok and Instagram Reels, according to data posted to X by a marketing firm that he works with. And that marketing firm, by the way, is called Clipping, and it is run by a massively wealthy 23-year-old.
I thought you were going to say Peter.
Fujiwara.
I thought you were going to say Peter Thiel for a second.
Not Peter Thiel that we know of. Clavicular amassed such fame without a large dedicated following. Instead, his name rocketed to the top of social media feeds due to modern marketing techniques bankrolled by Kick, the site where he is paid to live stream, according to an interview with Anthony Fujiwara, who runs Clipping. This is the marketing firm that promotes Clavicular's content online. Kick is a subsidiary of Australian media firm EasyGo Entertainment, which owns the multi-billion-dollar offshore crypto casino Stake, which Clavicular promotes in his Kick live streams. So basically, it's all a marketing funnel. Clipping is farming thousands of clips from Clavicular streams, which are not actually that widely viewed. So those take you to Kick. Kick is supposed to take you to Stake, where you gamble away your life savings. And that's really the play. And Clavicular is just, he is a marketing gimmick in and of himself. And the clips, so here's the thing. The clips are the marketing gimmick for Clavicular, his streams. So then you go to his streams on Kick, and Kick is a marketing gimmick for Stake. And that's where the real moolah is made. And the people behind this are co-owners and co-founders Ed Craven and I hope I pronounced this somewhat correctly, Bijan Tirani. They are in charge of EasyGo Entertainment and co-own it together. They have co-founded both Stake and Kick, which are underneath the EasyGo umbrella. So that's the context. Nobody knows who these dudes are, but they're really running the show.
Yeah.
Fewer than 1 million people follow Clavicular on each of his social media accounts, making him just a mid-tier influencer, according to Reed Ducher, a CEO of talent management firm Night Media. Across Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and X, Clavicular has a combined audience of less than 1.7 million. For comparison, they list Charlie D'Amelio, 212.3 million, and YouTuber, this is actually a VTuber, Iron Mouse, a pink-haired anime character who live streams on Twitch with 3.6 million. YouTube removed 2 of Clavicular's channels last week. That also, puts a dent in his numbers. The reach of his posts, according to Reed Ducher, is manufactured and paid for. Clavicular and Kick have not responded to requests for comment. The influencer reaches a wider audience than his follower counts suggest, thanks to 1,600 clipping contractors boosting video clips of his content, according to data that they posted. And this was, I think, posted on April 13th on Clavicular's X account. He said he is view maxed, and you can see at the top of the page, next to all of his streaming stats, Clipping X Kick. So Clipping, just one of their many clients is Kick. They also make clips through their contractors for major, record labels to support new artists and astroturf them into the mainstream. This is how an industry plant is made in lots of different industries, not just streamers, but also musicians. So, Kick is just one customer of Clipping that is run by, again, a 23-year-old in his apartment who is, photographed by Bloomberg, surrounded by a bunch of Nintendo plushies at his gaming chair. It's just insane.
Well, I mean, the world is artificial, so it makes perfect sense that the world behind the one you live in would be just as artificial. And I mean, this is why people talk about if all that matters for them is and you described one specific funnel to get people to gambling. But if all we're talking about is selling it to advertisers, then, I mean, how many times have you seen those images of the bot farms with all the phones hooked up where everything's designed to make something artificially look more important than it actually is?
Yes, yeah. And a lot of these contractors that work for Clipping are making somewhere between $500 and $800 per million views that one of their clips gets on any platform, which is, I mean, That's just infinitesimally small compared to what these streamers themselves are making. But they do it because a lot of these dudes are in like Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh, and that's a lot of money to them. So they are working nonstop. They say that Clavicular earns much of his income from filming himself for hundreds of hours every month, according to Fujiwara. Those contractors, called clippers, earn income plucking potentially viral moments from those long live streams and scattering them across social media. Clipping is a new line of work tailored to changes in social media platforms that reward short videos online, and where anyone with the right clip can see traction with an audience. And according to Fujiwara, the owner of Clipping, in the case of Clavicular, we take advantage of every single social media algorithm so that he is unavoidable. So this is literally being foisted upon you without organic interest. And it's very much a coordinated campaign for your attention, and it's working.
Yeah.
Clipping's contractors receive a couple $100, allegedly, for every million views amassed on a short clip of an influencer. They've also worked for Mr. Beast. That is chronicled in a totally different piece that was also published in Bloomberg back in October, where they interviewed this 23-year-old kid about his company. And he, obviously has a lot of people interested in taking some like partial ownership over Clipping, but he goes to meetings with these people, gets their advice, and just does it himself.
Yeah.
It's pretty smart, but kind of gives you an icky feeling. So they also list some stats for what clients pay to Clipping for this service, because they can't possibly flood the zone themselves. Yep. It's just one person, not even a team of full-time employees that they employ themselves could do this. One brief moment from an 8-hour Kick stream can get 100 million views on Instagram. Last month, 93% of the 1,700 clippers working on Clipping Kick's marketing campaign made videos for Clavicular, suggesting that Clavicular is the biggest beneficiary of Kick's clipping efforts. Some Clipping clients pay a subscription fee of $2,500 to $10,000 a month, or sometimes more, according to Fujiwara. And his Clavicular's website, his link tree that he has in his bio, also has a link to the Discord channel for potential Clipping contractors, selling you the opportunity to get paid to be one of these video editors and make like, $100 on the side. And they've also worked for Mr. Beast, but now Mr. Beast has created his own competitor to Clipping, which is called Viro. And I'm sure they're going to be doing the same thing for other clients. But really the marketing funnel is the darkest part, because they're taking everyone to gambling on stake. And it's also like, I think, banned in the US. I guess it's a murky territory because they're using crypto. But they have all of these huge names contracted to stream on Kick while playing gambling games on stake for their viewers. And they're implying with some evidence, I'm sure this would be fascinating for someone who's better at math than me to read about. They're implying that stake rigs the games that their streamers play, which is illegal. Class action lawsuits naming stake. Drake and Aiden Ross have alleged that their live streams make huge, statistically improbable wins seem normal, and that this can contribute to a misleading portrayal of the risks and rewards of online gambling.
I thought Drake was always made fun of for like getting it wrong all the time. Like every time he places a big bet, he loses.
Well, yeah, so they talk about one of Drake's streams on Kick where he keeps referring to Eddie, get on the call. And I think this is a scripted moment that they coordinated together. He's talking about Eddie, and everyone's like, who are you even talking about? It's Ed Craven, the owner of Stake. And Ed Craven, like, gets called in. He's, like, phoning a friend, and Ed Craven shows up on stream, and he's, like, giving Drake a pep talk. And he's like, you got to do this game instead. Take this strategy. Do this. And then he hops off the call, Drake resumes gambling after he's already down millions of dollars, and then gets multiple, again, as they put it, statistically improbable big wins directly after his call with Ed Craven on stream. And everyone's just like, that's a little weird, isn't it?
Feels fake.
One such suit filed in Missouri in October claims that by prominently advertising these exceedingly rare outcomes, Stake exploits players' cognitive biases and violates state rules prohibiting deceptive trade practices. But they're kind of insulated from a lot of the consequences legally and financially because, first of all, the executives are based in Australia, and they claim to prohibit anyone from banned jurisdictions from using Stake, although you can obviously use a VPN, and employees at Stake say that they even do this in the office. And they are incorporated in a small office in a strip mall across from a cemetery on a Caribbean island, Curacao. What the actual F is going on? Like, this is just so dark. I didn't even get through reading this entire piece, but if you're knowledgeable about this stuff, if you're good at math and you know the context, you really should read this in its entirety. This is a piece that came out on March 18th that is also published by Cecilia D'Anastasio in Bloomberg, titled "How to Win Slots and Influence People." And it's just incredible and so blackpilling. But basically what I'm trying to say is that they're demonstrating Clavicular does not have as much organic interest in his content and his personality than you would be led to believe by all of the outlets that are interviewing him. And he is basically the bait to suck people into gambling addiction once you get to the end of the bottom of the marketing funnel that they have set up.
That is so depressing. Like take that, guys who make fun of women for falling into the MLMs.
Like, maybe the whole conversation about what Clavicular represents in like Gen Z and society and feminism and the manosphere and politics, etc. Maybe that whole conversation is astroturfed as well.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really deserve as much of our energy and time as we give it. And even I, having covered Clavicular on this channel, admit that it isn't really relevant to normal people as much as these outlets would have you believe.
Yep. All right, let's move on. We've got more stuff to get into. Euphoria.
So who would have predicted that all of Sydney Sweeney's haters would change their minds about her as soon as the third season of Euphoria dropped? This new episode where they depict Cassie and Nate's wedding has seemingly changed public opinion about Sydney Sweeney overnight, despite all of her many controversies, the American Eagle campaign and being a registered Republican. Forget all of that. Her performance in this season is single-handedly bringing her haters back over to her side. I saw a lot of posts that were worded in a similar way to this one. I know we don't like her, but Sydney ate this line up, so I gotta give her 10s. I was cackling. I think this clip is short enough where we can play it.
Hold on, here we go.
We invested our kids' college funds.
And what does that have to do with me?
What does that have to do with me?
It was very well done. I must applaud her. And the most striking thing about it, which everyone is talking about, is the fact that Sydney Sweeney's face moves. This is a rare thing in Hollywood, increasingly rare. And actresses who don't have Botox and who have control over their facial muscles, something you would think is essential for acting, for emoting on screen, these actresses are becoming an endangered species. And it was so extreme, the difference, the contrast between these two actresses, that I genuinely, before seeing Sydney Sweeney pop up on the clip, thought that I was looking at an AI-generated clip.
Yeah.
And sadly, as many people pointed out in my replies, it's probably partly due to the fact that AI is sourcing from a composite of real faces, and real faces are starting to look like this. So it makes sense that, AI generated faces have enough hurdles portraying real emotion. This is one of them. It's the fact that actual human beings are not able to move their faces anymore. And Sydney Sweeney has a uniquely emotive face in this scene and a lot of the scenes that people are circulating online. A lot of people misinterpreted me and thought that I meant that Sydney is the one with Botox. I think we're struggling with reading comprehension in this country. The other actress, as I learned, is just a supporting character who plays a judgmental neighbor to Cassie and Nate in this season, named Heather. But her name is Jessica Blair Herman. And when I looked at some more photos of her and screenshots from that scene, I do want to say you can see some movement in her face. Like in this particular screenshot, you see lines in her forehead. I don't think you'd be able to do that if your face was just like totally loaded up with botulism. But in that clip specifically, the top half of her face is frozen. So I wouldn't rule out Botox as the reason for that. And even some mainstream critics have taken the same apologetic tone. Euphoria episode 3 has Sydney Sweeney's best Cassie performance ever, according to a contributor at Forbes. The third and final season of Euphoria has been totally off the rails, but now it's starting to feel like a good thing. The premiere, which felt like a complete departure from the entire series, is finding its footing. As it stands, its biggest weakness is not its storylines or performances, but the lack of a soundtrack replaced by a bizarre score by Hans Zimmer that was never more out of place than it was in last night's episode.
Is Hans Zimmer does he just need to work? Like, there's no reason for Hans Zimmer to be scoring Euphoria.
I've seen some clips of people complaining about the score, and it is exactly as bad as they're saying. It's like, I don't even know what to compare it to. There are a lot of like steel drums. It's like, why are we on a safari right now?
Like, Hans Zimmer should be doing big budget blockbuster movies, not Euphoria.
They say that they were very impressed with Sydney Sweeney's performance as Cassie, easily the best we've seen from her in this series, and probably one of her best across her movie roles as well. It started with a locked up Cassie walking down the aisle with her mother, lamenting the history of her marriage, which began at her wedding and only went downhill from there. The idea is that she's implying Cassie is doing the opposite, given that Nate is such a great guy, but a frozen Cassie arrives at the altar with tears rolling down her face and not the happy kind. And then afterwards, I mean, I guess I can't spoil it. I already know a lot about the plot from just reading people's conversations about it, but there are scenes that take place after the wedding where she's got a bloody nose and she's sobbing and screaming. That's something that she excels at. And she couldn't do it if she had Botox, if she were following the trend.
I said
she
before
wouldn't be able to do this.
We went live is that her number one skill set that she puts on her resume is ugly crier. She's a fantastic ugly crier, and you need your face to move if you're gonna ugly cry.
I've heard people say that her strong suit as an actress is locking in on one particular emotion and just like digging her heels in on that one thing. Yeah. There's this clip from Immaculate, I believe, where she's got just blood all over her face and she's just screaming.
Unfortunately, it's modern Hollywood, so you actually can't see anything.
You can barely see it. It's like, yeah, there's just an outline of a face there, but she's just screaming for this whole scene. And they said, I think her performance in this movie is impeccable. And I get sad about the fact that she would rather end her career than stop being a wretched witch. So they're just begrudgingly offering her some praise about her acting abilities, even though they seem to still hate her real life.
Maybe the funniest version of this is that she didn't mean to register as a Republican. She just didn't know the difference. She's like, crap, and then just picked one.
By the way, she's not ending her career. Like, that's a delusional take.
Yes, it is.
she's at the top of her game right now and working constantly. So I have no idea what they're talking about. Like, obviously she has garnered some controversy, but it has done the opposite of ending her career. If anything, it has helped her. And I did want to address a counterpoint to what I said about the actress opposite her with Botox. They said it makes perfect sense in the context of the show and that character for her to actually have Botox in real life. Therefore, it makes sense. There, end of story.
Why? Because she's older?
Well, she's older than Cassie's character, but also she's their judgmental neighbor in a rich neighborhood, and you know, people in that social strata are definitely more likely, especially in California, to have some tweakments done. Like, I get that that's a valid point, and it makes sense in the context. I would say the same thing about Nicole Kidman in Baby Girl. She plays the high-powered female executive. They even show a scene of her getting Botox injections in the movie, which is meant to be disconcerting. But Nicole Kidman, of course, in real life also like does regularly get Botox and fillers. It just, in that context, makes sense. The problem, though, is when everyone in Hollywood conforms to this beauty standard, then it does reduce the possibilities for the stories they can be a part of. So it also then incentivizes the people who are in production and script writing to not do, you know, things that take place in the 1800s like this. Because you can't put that actress in a period piece. It just doesn't make sense. This was actually making fun of a promo shot of Millie Bobby Brown in the next Enola Holmes movie. I don't think it's fair. It just kind of looks like she's overlined her lips. I don't think that she has, like, I don't know. What do you think? She just looks like, you know, she's gotten older and maybe she overlines her lips.
Yeah, to me. I mean, in that photo, I can't tell she's wearing the veil, but in these photos, I don't know. I mean, she still looks unbearably modern, but that's just what it is.
That's just what's in the water these days.
I can't articulate you a reason why she looks modern here when everything is supposed to scream otherwise, be it the clothes or the. I mean, I don't know. Like, you would be better at telling me what about her is so modern in this image that's supposed to very clearly not be set in current time.
I mean, I think part of it is also the costumes. The costuming needs some work. It's kind of like what people said about Rings of Power and Pendragon.
Wait, so like, are they too clean?
They're too clean. They're overly starched. There's just something artificial about the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then go back to that photo. I mean, her love interest in the franchise also looks like a Zoomer. Like, he looks like a 21st century Zoomer.
They at least gave him the hair. They at least gave him hair that is not totally modern. Right. It's a more timeless.
At least he doesn't have the broccoli cut.
That would be funny.
He could do better, but, you know, count your blessings where you can get them.
Like, this one doesn't look too bad. Like, this image looks fine, other than the fact that, you know, they're sitting in the dirt and they're going to sit up and there's going to be no dirt on their clothes.
I don't know enough about cinematography to, like, tell you exactly why something is off about it, but it is Netflix slop, so.
Well, it's because they light the face perfectly, and then they just destroy any chance of shadows anywhere, so everything looks weirdly there. And there's no mystery behind the image. Like your eyes fill in the blanks, right? It becomes flat, right? So when there's shadows, your eyes fill in the blanks and you see depth from shadows. When there's no shadows, everything looks like it's all on one even field. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't work. It's one of those things I'll never be able to explain. Like, I just won't. I'm not versed enough in the industry to know why, but it's not something they can gaslight you into pretending like it isn't a problem. Everybody knows it's a problem. My issue is more, the indoor lighting is egregious and bad enough most of the time. My problem is when they don't want to light something outside, so it's flat and blue, and there's no depth whatsoever, meaning that it literally looks like they didn't light the scene at all. Like, they shot it all in camera.
Well, like that Immaculate clip.
Yes. Yeah.
It's literally that. It just, There was no thought put into it.
Oh, Rick is right in the chat. They're not in black and white. If they were in black and white, it would clearly be from another time period. People obviously didn't become color until years later.
Just turn that saturation all the way down.
Yeah, exactly.
In regard to Euphoria, though, I just want to say that people have short attention spans, and they're airing these episodes on a weekly basis. People have already forgotten that Sydney Sweeney was dressed up as an adult baby with a pacifier in her mouth, spread eagle on a couch in an adult diaper. Okay, people have already forgotten about that. This is the new one, so we're going to talk about what she did in this episode. So I guess, it remains to be seen if, as these next episodes air for the upcoming weeks, is this going to be Sydney Sweeney's public opinion redemption arc? I don't know. We'll see what happens in the next episode.
Here is an image from the 2026 Netflix Little House on the Prairie.
Okay.
I can't.
Why isn't there any orange light on their faces from the fire?
Because the fire was probably done in post-production.
Oh my gosh.
There's
Everything sucks.
it all looks like look at this.
No, that was a production of Millie Bobby Brown herself. Millie Bobby Brown was on the set of Enola Holmes 3, and they were like setting up the dynamic lighting, and she was like, "Stop that! Stop! No more. We need only slop, slop only. This is her brand now.
Like
She
everything
only
is
does
just
slop cinema.
everything is just so uninspired. It is.
Truly, it's hard to get emotionally invested in something that looks like this.
I can't. I would never. I mean,
It doesn't even look like real life. It looks worse than real life.
Yep. Here's another image from it. Hey. Whatever.
Just why?
At least
Why even bother?
at least it's light outside. I can give them that.
Ugh.
It's just.
But I mean, look at that overcast sky. It's just.
Here's an image from the original.
Sun used to be yellow, guys.
Yep, it did.
I swear.
Yeah.
It was yellow.
Look,
and
you
the
can
whole world
actually
was
see the
washed in
sun
warm,
shining
delicious
on.
light.
You can see the sun shining on the face there and in their hair. Amazing.
They don't look like they're on a soundstage.
I can't, man. I can't.
Like, they could have filmed this whole House on the Prairie adaptation in front of an LED wall.
Yeah.
I'd believe it. If
Yep.
you told me that was how they made the show, I'd believe you.
I can't. None of it interests me anymore. It's all so flat and boring to me. I would like to see, like, the thing is though, I don't know how to fix it. Like, at the very least, my biggest complaint with Snow White was the fact that they built like a digital forest, and like you couldn't have just gone out into the woods somewhere. You're Disney. Buy a small country and then film in the woods there. You've got the money.
Yeah,
to do
that
so.
would be a good investment actually for Disney if they just bought,
They're like, can we buy South Africa?
Just buy an island or buy a plot of land somewhere in England or New Zealand or something. They would make great use of it. Why the heck not? They're Disney. They have unlimited money anyway.
Another one from Little House on the Prairie, like so well lit that they're like the hair was actually blown out from the sunlight.
Yeah, it will never be the same again.
It never will. All right, let's go to Super Chats.
Okay. Hopefully I didn't miss any 20s here. Okay, we're good. Corey Anderson said, in regard to the Olivia Wilde photo, idiots on YouTube were doing the same to Mary last week. What, they said I was on Ozempic and had Botox?
I'm assuming he's talking about like manipulate like AI edited images, which is it didn't look like they were AI editing Olivia Wilde's photos. They were just taking really bad screenshots.
They did that to Angelina Jolie, though, for sure. Yep. The Angelina Jolie screenshot was fake.
Yep.
Brian Bledsoe said, soon as I saw Shoe on Head video on Pragmata, I knew Mary's tweet was going to be in it. Yeah, I knew she posted a video about it. I haven't watched it. I don't really plan on it, to be honest, because what's the point if I'm not planning to like make this like the hill that I officially die on? I don't know. Like, I didn't really care about it that much in the first place.
Spend a weekend making a rebuttal video to everybody.
Actually, since then, I've had some great conversations with people I actually know about the video game, and That's been more enjoyable by far.
Funny how that works.
Yeah. Username I'm not going to read said, if everyone chooses red, everyone survives. There, gay problem solved. That is so true. It's the same as the blue button, if you think about it.
It's anti-logic to think that everybody's going to pick the same way. It would show a distinct lack of understanding of human nature.
Yeah, but the blue button pressers are weaklings who deserve to die.
Well,
kidding.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
You know what? Don't hit the blue button. Don't hit the red button. Hit the like button on this episode right now.
Or if you're listening, give us a rate and review.
Yes. Only good ones, though. No bad ones.
Only good reviews. Only 5 stars. Shane H. Wilder said, my choice... Oh, I think you read that one earlier. A priest on Catholic Answers answered the trolley problem. It is too long to describe here and gets into things like the principle of double effect.
See, but here's the thing. Catholic priests and theologians and intellectuals, those people should be discussing the trolley
That's
problem.
their whole thing.
Like, if you come to me to talk about the trolley problem, you've got worse problems in your own life.
Well, I thought that the Catholic answer to the trolley problem is standing down and not pulling the lever. But I don't know. I'm not saying that's what I would do. I don't know. It definitely interests me. I'll go find that video. Robert Delara said, all of these left-wing Hollywood celebs who spout socialism/communism will use the capitalist system to enrich themselves. Which celebs live in Cuba again? I forget. You know what they should do? They should just send Hassan Piker to live in Cuba and live out the rest of his days where he would be truly happy in a country that reflects his values. I think he would be much, much happier streaming from Cuba. Greg Duvier said, normal people would have no idea that dress is cheap or from Temu. Also, normal people, that is a really nice dress she's wearing.
They probably would. They would have no clue.
Nobody pays that much attention to what you're wearing. I do think that it matters.
That's not true because people comment on the neck of my shirt all the time. So people definitely do pay attention to what I am wearing.
It matters that you buy things that don't fall apart. Like, I just will stand by that. I think it's important to wear things that actually last and are made to be worn, not seen in a photo. Like, that's why people generally buy stuff from Shein, and it's because they're wearing something for a photo and they will never think about it or wear it again. And I hate that.
Even I stopped throwing away my white t-shirts. I wash them and wear them skating again now.
That's improvement.
Yep.
Yeah. And you know what? It is a virtuous thing to do, to fix things that you have instead of throwing them away when they break. And that goes for anything, including things that you wear. I just don't like the throwaway culture.
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do with elitism or logos. That's just about quality. And yeah, you're gonna probably have to pay a much higher investment into something that lasts these days. It used to be that you could find something that lasts you a long time in a mall, and that's just not the case anymore.
Even like, so my favorite jacket that I ever owned was like a faux leather with like the hoodie attached, like with like a hoodie built into it jacket. And I wore that thing for years to the point where the fake leather was basically just peeling off of it. But I loved that jacket.
Yeah.
And I imagine that if I was to find that same jacket now, it would peel much, much faster. Like, it took years for it to start peeling off on the one that I had. Now I imagine that it would peel off instantly and you'd have to be done with the jacket in almost no time.
Yeah. You just can't rely on things to last these days. Corey Anderson said, elitists buy name brands and only wear them once. I mean, yeah, that is true. Like, overconsumption is kind of a problem across the board, no matter what, tax bracket you're in. Everybody seems to be engaging in overconsumption, just whatever is accessible to them. So whether it's buying something on Shein and throwing it away or buying something from a Chanel store and throwing it away, it's all overconsumption the same.
Yeah. Wait.
I do like respect the legacy of brands that were once known for quality and craftsmanship like Chanel, but that's not true anymore. Even they have drastically downgraded.
I have a fashion question for you right now. How do you feel about Charlize Theron wearing apparently what looks to me like a Victorian era neck brace?
You know what's crazy? I saw that photo of her earlier and it just didn't even register to me anymore. Like, I'm just like, you know what? Sure, what the hell? I just don't even notice these things anymore.
I was like, did she get into a car accident?
Dude, it looks like a neck brace, yeah. It looks like a neck brace made of coffee filters.
Yes, it does.
With like shoelaces attached.
Did you see she like had some interview where she said like if she ever like gets in a relationship again, she won't live in the same house?
Yeah, a lot of celebrities seem to say that.
Yeah.
When you can afford multiple homes, those are the things you think about. Yeah, but that's, you know, in my humble opinion as a fashion expert, not a good look. Not a fan. Junie said, buy it nice or buy it twice. I bought a Gucci belt with my stimmy check and still wear it 4 to 5 times a week. Good for you,
Always
queen.
good to if you're gonna like I said, if you spend the money on it, you might as well get something that that holds up. Like for me, I have I don't buy expensive shoes, but I found the shoes that I always wear, the high tops with no laces, that specific brand, and I've just replaced them with the same ones. Like after a year and a little over a year, they usually last of wearing it pretty much every day. Just buy the same pair again.
The real flex is having a cobbler.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was you.
Like, I have a shoe guy now.
Yeah. I don't know if it was you I was telling about this, but there is a cobbler in the mall, in the little strip mall by where I grew up in Minnesota, and the business is still there.
Good for him.
Yep. I think it's his son running it now.
I love that.
Yep.
Yeah. Shane H. Wilder said, if you spend money on something to last, then it's fine. I've had my suit for a decade, and I also own my dad's suit that he bought in his mid-20s. I think it was just, like, assumed that you were buying things like that, like, to be with you for life in previous generations, and it's just not considered the same way anymore.
Somebody took your comment in here. Somebody said, why does this chick have coffee filters around her neck?
No. I wasn't the only one who noticed. They were in a pinch backstage. She needed an accessory, and they just had to make it work. Girl. Cool Video 101 said, Mary, what's your opinion on Joanne Fabrics? I worked there for 6 years until it went under last year, partly because it was bought by private equity. I didn't know about the private equity buyout. Yep. That's an interesting detail.
Yeah, I remember the lady, we were told that by somebody who worked there when we were there before.
Wow.
That's
that was out of
was
a Hallmark movie.
This was Olivia's Vietnam. Joanne's going under.
Well, what did she have to say about it? Like, what's her take?
It broke her heart. She loves Joanne Fabrics. So
where is she gonna go?
Should we go to Michael's? She goes to Hobby Lobby. You know.
Yeah.
I come with and look around.
Soulless corporate
yeah.
overlords of fabric sales.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's sad. Corey Anderson said Mary looks lovely today, better than Olivia Wilde. Well, thank you. I jumped over that very low bar today. That's something to be proud of. Shane H. Wilder said dog rage baits with Van Gogh, then lists tour dates. Yeah, is that a stand-up comedian or something?
Yeah, look like it.
Well, it's working on me. Robert Delara said, when it comes to plastic surgery, has Joan Rivers not taught people anything?
I mean, plastic surgery
What about
is
Joan Rivers?
like, well, hasn't she had like extensive work done, or am I thinking of somebody else?
She did.
Like,
yeah.
is the idea, I mean, but isn't the idea now that plastic surgery is in a vastly different place now than it was when she got her stuff done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be that the goal of plastic surgery was for it to be incredibly obvious, I think. That used to be the goal. Like, especially when it came to body stuff, like breast augmentations, like that was meant to be detected and no one, I mean, it was like extreme cases.
Okay.
And then now I feel like the goal is for it to be like many, many, many different, procedures that are undetectable or marketed as undetectable. And that's why they're called tweakments, because they're just like, if you're not a trained eye, you would miss it. Like a blepharoplasty, for instance. That's just only recently entered the commoner's lexicon. Most people can't afford a blepharoplasty, let alone know what it is. So I think that the goal now is like, I think just like looking inhuman.
Generically,
What
just barely not human.
Yeah, uncanny valley aesthetics. Like it used to be about like being like over the top sexy, and now it's about being an alien. Shane H. Wilder said, "Kick sells the steaks. I'll take 3." I wish that it were
That
a
type of steak.
business.
I am hungry.
Yeah, I could go for a steak. Corey Anderson said, "VTubers are creepy." Well, don't kick the hornet's nest there. They have some pretty rabid fans. But yeah, I agree with you. It's pretty weird. When I learned about it, it must have been like 2021 that I learned that VTubers even existed, and I just like couldn't even believe that they have fans, especially when you know for a fact that it's like a big sweaty dude putting on a voice modulator. Like it's just it's so creepy. Pat the Plumber said, "Veterans hate stolen valor. Brett hates stolen whimsy."
I want to see a world with more whimsy. In what universe do we need dark and gritty Casper the Friendly Ghost?
What is the log line?
It says, a live-action Casper the Friendly Ghost series is in the works at Disney+. The series will have a dark, edgy tone similar to Wednesday. Have some whimsy. Like, I don't even have the energy to yell right now, and I really, really want to, but have some whimsy. Like, not everything... I was thinking about it today because I was watching this video about the making and production of The Dark Knight. And you know what? Not everything needs to be dark and gritty. In fact, if there's one thing that doesn't, it's the thing that has friendly in the name. Like if it was Casper the Mean Ghost, maybe you could justify dark and gritty, but it's not Casper the Mean Ghost. It's Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Well, I just don't understand like who they would even cast to play
Devon Sawa. They're gonna cast him again as Casper in the human corporeal form of Casper, except for he'll be in his 40s.
But like it's a ghost. So how does that even make any sense?
The original Casper is a freaking great movie. I don't care what anybody says. That is a great movie. You should show it to your kids. It's fantastic. Bill Pullman is fantastic. Christina Ricci is fantastic. The whole movie is fantastic. Okay? Thank you. Whimsy!
I would like the Casper movie.
I think you would. I think you'd find it heartfelt. I do.
Okay.
And aesthetically, I think you'd enjoy it.
I've gotten enough comparisons to Casper
over
the years to justify watching it finally.
Hey! Okay, it almost did it again.
If everything is dark and gritty, nothing is dark and gritty. Then the power of dark and gritty is completely emptied, and nothing is dark and gritty. It's just like, I don't know.
Like,
well, I mean, for Wednesday, since it referenced Wednesday, the Netflix show, it actually just was in the exact same, it was presented in the exact same tone as the original Addams Family. Like, from what I could tell, it was just the same, like, dark comedy thing that they went for. So it wasn't that big of a change from the original. This doesn't sound like an analog to the Wednesday series at all.
The moments where the daughter, I forget the daughter's name and the dad's name, but like when he sees his wife again, it just Bill Pullman, his performance, it like wrenches your heart out. Okay, it's fantastic, and it was made for kids. So just no.
What is this version going to be like? Not family friendly? Is that what they're going for?
Is that what this is supposed to be?
He like Casper drops F-bombs.
Bro.
I can't.
Well, you know, it's gonna be PG-13, so it gets one F word in the. I just can't.
Corn Pop said spay tan tax fund.
Spray tan tax fund?
He said spay.
Okay.
I don't know, man. Robert Delara said, it seems Sydney Sweeney's way of thinking is just because everyone in Hollywood is doing it doesn't mean I have to, at least in politics and Botox. I will say about that, she, in multiple interviews now, has said she, is not going to get anything done, like no cosmetic procedures, no Botox, fillers, no plastic surgery, etc. But it is easy to say that when you're still in your 20s and you don't know what you're going to look like in 10 years. So I want to see if she actually follows through on that commitment, and I would not judge if she didn't. But it is something that you're praised for saying before you quote unquote need Botox. And then when you get to the point where you need Botox, everyone shits on you. So I just think that that's a little bit hypocritical from the people who rail against it. Shane H. Wilder said, I'm related to Laura Ingalls Wilder, and I'm sure if she were still alive, she would be appalled by Netflix Little House on the Prairie.
Mainly because she wouldn't be able to see what's going on, I'm sure.
Being related to Laura Ingalls is such a flex. Do you get to go to the coolest family reunions? Like, tell me all about it.
Yep.
That's incredible. Boston said, great show today, watching from the paddle boat race.
Okay,
cool.
Where is that going on?
Can I come? That sounds fun. Brian Bledsoe said, seeing all of these muted colors from Netflix and others, when I see some color in the latest Hunger Games trailer, it at least caught my attention.
I would like stuff to have a little bit more vibrancy. Some whimsy and some vibrancy. Okay, so Casper doesn't need to be vibrant, but it does need to be whimsical. Other things don't necessarily need to be whimsical, but they should be vibrant.
I'm thinking of watching the live action Alice in Wonderland movie. I heard that people liked that a lot. Pop Culture Junkie said, Zimmer, Euphoria, the definition of slumming. Well, for Zimmer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a last ditch, like, they were on, like, 0 time until the premiere, and then Labyrinth, their original soundtrack, dropped out and posted on Instagram like, fuck Euphoria, all this stuff. Like, he was having a crash out on Instagram, so they couldn't use his music anymore, and they were just like, they just called up Hans Zimmer and they were like, we'll pay you anything, please. And he did it, but he just ended up making it sound like, I don't even know, I still don't know what to compare it to. It's like, it sounds like more like something that you would hear in Zootopia 2.
Can we get some some orange and yellow colors like Bill Pullman here in Casper? Can we get some of this?
Yeah.
Like,
this looks great.
This movie's so great.
We have the technology.
We do.
We just don't have the will. You know?
It's so annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, also, apparently, like, the first time a CGI character, an entirely CGI character was, like, the star of a movie or listed as the star of the movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Shane H. Wilder said the priest's answer was, if both choices are intrinsically evil and you have to choose, then pick the lesser evil, so pull the lever and save the 5. But I've heard other takes from, from priests and theologians who say if both choices are intrinsically evil, the only not intrinsically evil choice is to not choose, which is also a choice. So I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that one. Corey Anderson said, Brett, it's because your shirt neck holes are ridiculously large.
They are not. I don't. Again, like I said, I don't know why you guys like to soft choke yourselves every day, but that's a you thing.
That's your fetish.
Don't let me into your.
Wants nothing to do
Don't
with
let
it.
me into your perversions. I don't want anything to do with it. Like, just because you like slowly cutting off the oxygen to your own brain does not mean I want that.
Yeah, that's not to kink shame or anything.
Right here, Netflix would be like, whoa, whoa, that's too much color. Whoa, sorry.
Like, my eyes are burning.
Have you thought about making it blue? Like a whitish blue. Have you thought about doing that?
We have a 20 here from Smoke Daddy 00. This is off topic, but what do you guys think of the whole quartering situation? I personally think he just pissed off the wrong people, and now he's getting shit on by everyone. I even seen Mary get dragged a little bit on X. Well, I hope not as it relates to the quartering, because I have nothing to do with that, but yes, I have been dragged a little bit on X. I don't really think about the quartering situation, but like, it's bad to get someone's channel banned, obviously.
Yep.
If that's what he did, right? Is that what people are mad about? That's the main thing?
Like, it's the thing is like, this is like any type of, like, when it comes to creator drama, is like there's 10,000 things have happened before you can even like focus on one of them, and I don't have the time to sit there and read about literally every detail and learn about it. But plenty of creators have been covering it. It's just, it's not something we would cover on this channel.
But that's the main thing, right?
Yes. So getting Kino
thing.
Casino's clip channel banned.
Well,
but I don't know. I don't know if proof was shown or what it was, but you know, it is on my best day, I'm not on X enough to pay close enough attention. If I'm my best self, I'm not on the internet enough to pay close enough attention.
Shane H. Wilder said, looks like a Victorian era African neck lengthener. I remember those. I think I first saw those in like National Geographic magazines when I was a kid, and I was like, what the fuck? Robert Delara said, was Charlize Theron attacked? I wonder if anyone saw her with that on, said, OMG, what happened?
Or maybe
I think she's okay. She just has a weird style.
Maybe she's like nearly headless Nick in Harry Potter, and she wears it to keep her head from tipping.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Cold Leftovers said, Brett looks lovely today. Better than Olivia Wilde.
Yeah, especially with my not loose neck. There. Everybody here just wants me to wear turtlenecks all the time. I'm not going to do that.
Shane H. Wilder said, I think Mary would enjoy the Casper movie. It has a lot of heart and humor. That and the ghostly trio of Fatso, Stinky, and Stretch are still funny. Drop dead, too late. I would probably like it.
And then the evil lady, what's her name? Kerrigan or whatever her name is. The evil old lady is also freaking great in that movie. She's just like the most unlikable human being you've ever seen in your entire life. We got some Rumble rants here. Broody Gambit says Hans Zimmer has been a caricature of himself since Disney had to hire him for Pirates of the Caribbean to avoid a copyright lawsuit after the first one. He is much better as a mentor, like in Tron 2. I did not know that. I also think it's funny, like, I feel like recently at, like, some, like, live event, he, like, stopped a concert to say F Trump. And I'm like, literally, the composers? Like, is nothing sacred? Your job doesn't even involve talking. Like, the only way that could be funny is if he was able to do, like, it musically where the instruments said it. Then I would think it's okay.
Oh, like with the notes? I guess that wouldn't work, would it?
I don't know how they would do that, but or hire some
the triangle in Morse code.
Yes, says F Trump.
How about that?
Yeah. One more from Broody Gambit says there needs to be another movie with the color palette of Speed Racer. Just in general for me, I want to see more yellow and green and less yellow and blue. I'm sick of yellow and blue. Everyone's like, they're complementary colors. I don't care. It's overdone, and the yellow never stands out enough anyways, and then the blue always ends up being overpowering and stupid.
Wait, I thought it was blue and orange that were.
I mean, you can do both, blue and yellow or blue and orange.
This is gonna bother me all day.
But this would
Blue
be
and orange, yeah. Yeah, because they're opposite on the color wheel.
But
So.
like you watch any the example I always give, you watch old Canadian produced television shows and they had a green and yellow color palette that was at least interesting to look at.
Pat the Plumber said, Murray, will you watch a bad movie with Olive and Branch? What's next on the docket for bad movie reviews?
What is? I think it's called One for the Money with Katherine Heigl. It's
what is?
Hold
it?
on, One for the. Let me double check and make sure that was.
Super
Yeah,
show,
it's
wow.
very low rated. One for the Money has 5 on IMDb, but is consistently put as like one of the worst movie lists. Unemployed and newly divorced, Stephanie Plum lands a job at her cousin's bail bond business, where her first assignment puts her on the trail of a wanted local cop from her romantic past. And there was like people in the comment section in the live chat yesterday who were like, "This movie's awful. I feel bad for you if you watch it."
Well, as long as it's like entertainingly bad.
Well, that's the thing. I said we're only allowed 2 ratings: bad or bad good. So
Wait, bad good is that it's so good.
It's so bad that it's good. Otherwise, it's just bad.
Yeah. Okay. I'll consider it. That would be fun.
I mean, I like Katherine Heigl because from everything I know, that people just hate working with her, and I find that funny. Like, everybody now has to lie and pretend like they all get along together, and she's just like, everybody hated working with her to the point where she's like not hired anymore.
Why though?
I have no idea. I'm sure there's
She's
stories.
nasty?
She's just a nasty person to work with.
Weary Traveler said, despite all my rage, I'm still just a turtle in the left lane.
Close enough.
Pop Culture Junkie said, Casper is regarded as a landmark in CGI community.
Yeah, it does look great. And I bet you it still looks great. It's been a few years since I've watched it, but I bet you it still looks fantastic.
Yeah. Shane H. Wilder said, Wilders are not known for getting together too often, so no family reunions. Hell, no one knew anyone from my grandpa's branch existed until the 60s. Well, you know what that means, Shane? You have to be the one who organizes the family reunion and make it happen. And you guys can all do a Netflix watch party together and hate it. Corey Anderson said, a horse could comfortably wear your shirts, Brett. Wow, that's such a specific insult.
But the horse, I mean, that doesn't, like, wouldn't it be better?
It would be a mini horse.
Wouldn't that be better to say, like, an animal with, like, a wider head? Because the horse could just, like...
Horses have wide heads.
Not that wide. Not compared to something else. How about a hippopotamus? A hippopotamus.
And it would just sound like calling you fat.
That's okay.
That's what it would sound like.
That's okay.
Okay.
I fat shame myself.
Wilder said, I did originally agree with you on the trolley problem, but the Catholic Answers priest gave a good argument. Check it out as he explained it better. All right.
And then your job as like a consumer is to decide like whose take on the trolley problem you care more about, some priest or theologian or the Nelk boys. And then you can decide who is giving you better advice.
How about neither? I'm going to make up my own mind. High Voltage 75 said, curious weather geek here. Mary, were you affected by any of the tornado warnings on Monday? Do
you mentioned
have a
this.
safety plan in place? I didn't even know that there were tornado warnings that night. To me, it just looked like it was raining. But I did hear about it the next day, and hopefully nothing bad happens. I don't know. I don't have a safety plan. I have to be honest. Never thought about that. I have a place to go without windows, but yeah, I think I'd just be toast, and that's okay. Brian Bledsoe said, remember Hans Zimmer being an artist for Bernie. That being said, seeing him in concert was one of the best I've seen live.
That's why they will always win, because as cringe as they are, they're very good at what they do.
Yeah.
They can be cringy with politics and
Get
still
away with
be
it.
unbelievable artists, and that's still a good thing. That's why you should be incentivized to not look into it. Though I kind of want to make a video now because I've been seeing more posts from people who are going back and re-watching old stuff and like retroactively looking at it and being like, oh, it was woke all along. And I think that is ceding territory and giving up things you loved, where what they've wanted, what the far left has wanted from the beginning is gender and race consciousness in all situations. So if you go back and rewatch some show you liked from the 90s, the 2000s, like, oh, there were girl bosses in this show too. It's just like, bro, it costs you nothing to just love it. It costs you a little bit of your soul. Not because you need to love it because it's slop, but because you loved it when you were younger, and that matters. Like, it matters that it meant something to you before. So it costs you a little bit of your soul to like rewatch something and then be like, and maybe I'm just like, I still believe that that's the vast majority of these problems with people, which is that, and I've made this point to you tons of times, which is like progressive politics and progressive ideas have been in movies and television for a long time. It's more about when you were initiated into the political discussion and then you start noticing it. So you'll notice, or at least this is what's true for me, a story could be like the same thing in current year, and it will bother me far more because I saw it after I became politically aware. But if it was from a time before then, it just doesn't bother me.
I don't even know if I can think of an example of something like that I've rewatched and like found something, ideologically objectionable about it.
The examples they'll give whenever I talk about procedurals and stuff that I like High Potential, they're like, the police captain is like a DEI hire. I'm like, every procedural like, by that they're just like, I don't know if they mean like, is there something that says like they weren't supposed to be hired and then there was some policy put in place that put them there? Or are you just saying that they're black? Okay, because if what you're saying is that they're black, they've been doing that in these shows for decades. Like as I point out, both of the police precinct captains in Castle were mixed race or black. Nobody cared. It did not matter. This stuff has been, and that show started in 2008, right, or 2009. It's been going on for a long time. You just notice it now because people started talking about it. So if you don't want to like something in current year for that reason, I still think it's short-sighted to give up on it because there's one thing you don't like about it. But to go back and retroactively stop liking something just feels like a way of hurting your own soul. A little bit.
Pop Culture Junkie said, Hollywood open secret, you hire Zimmer for a film and he farms out a lot of the work to baby composers in his company. You pay for the name.
So he's like, who is it? Like, not Michael Crichton, but the guy who wrote Jack Ryan and stuff like that. Like all of those, but like now they just use the name on it more than anything.
Yeah. Corey Anderson said, horses have thick necks, Brett.
You mean thick?
FYI.
So what you're saying is that I'm extremely dense and awesome looking. That's what you're saying, and that I would be difficult to choke. I would be difficult to choke slam. That's what you're saying. The Undertaker wouldn't be able to choke slam me.
Shane H. Wilder.
Tom Clancy's name is like still used on books, even if because obviously he's dead, so he's not writing them anymore.
A Wilder family reunion would go like this. Hey, how's it going? Anyone die? Cool. Well, see you next year. It can be so much more than that.
Yep.
I believe in you. Red Snow said Brett's shirts have neck chasms, not holes. Look, I mean, it's just like, I'm looking at it right now. It looks pretty normal to me.
I'm going to start wearing V-necks. Okay? I'm going to start wearing V-necks.
Am I not seeing it? Because I've just only seen you in these insane shirts.
They're trolling. They're trolling. That's okay.
Changed what my idea of a shirt is forever.
I've slowly moved your version of like the shirt Overton window. The Overton neck window is now vastly different than it was just a couple of years ago when these people were saying that basically you should be choking yourself to death on your own t-shirt.
What about V-necks? You could get into those.
No, it's not 2009 anymore. It's not 2009 anymore. Hey guys, it used to be worse. And I'll tell you what, I used to cut the necks out of my shirts because they would be too close. Because there's the hemline on them.
Well, look, we
cut
all
them.
have a little touch of the tism, and we have some sensory issues, and that's yours, and that's your right.
We've got some Rumble rants here from Broody Gambit. Says, tonight we dine on turtle soup. And he also says, you are given the option to pull one of 3 levers to divert a trolley. After you make your selection, a game show host shows the one of the 2 remaining levers do nothing. Do you then change levers? I reject your question.
I would call the game show host a name.
Yes.
That I can't say on YouTube.
Yep.
How about that? Corn Pop said, Mary, I love your hair. Stay beautiful. Thank you.
There you go.
I think we're all caught up on the super chats.
All right, then. Guys, before we go, as always, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you've not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. I'm still coughing. Like, it's been over a month now. And I'm still coughing. So if I'm dying, that sucks. But I hope I'm not.
You should probably, like, get that checked out.
It's not good. So, guys, hit the like button on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed here yet already. Remember, when I say hit the like button, I'm not saying hit a red button. I'm not saying hit a blue button. I'm not saying divert any trolleys. I'm not telling you to make any type of moral dilemma choice. I'm just telling you to do the right thing. I'm not going to ask you a moral dilemma or put you in a moral dilemma because I'm going to tell you what the moral thing to do is. The moral thing to do is hit the like button on this video.
Can we end the poll?
Yes.
Please?
Yes. I asked you guys,
To do that.
is it Utz or Oots? And so far, Utz has won.
By how much?
Close. It was 58%.
No one calls it Oots. You're lying. All of you people who answered Oots are lying. That's not real.
Yep.
Whoever called it Oots? And where are you from? Like, what planet are you from? That is so bizarre. Anyways, you guys can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived, and help me get TikTok famous. That is also Mary Archived. Shane H. Wilder said next episode, Brett comes in with a plunging neckline. Yeah, down to the belly button.
I'm going to start wearing tank tops on the show if you guys aren't careful.
Pat the Plumber said, button up Brett is best Brett.
The thing is the studio gets too warm for the button ups, even when you roll the sleeves up. So I can't always do that.
You just run hot because I was always freezing in there.
Yes, it should always be cold as hell in here. That's my personal preference. We are very, very dangerously close to a 3rd crisis party, so perhaps I will do the outro.
I think we need $9.
Yeah, we're getting there. Guys, if you would like to follow me for more shirt and colored neck advice, you can follow me on Instagram and on X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. Remember that PCC is live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, as always, noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than just watch the show, you can rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, which is a great way to help the channel out. If you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at popculturecrisis, Instagram at popculturecrisisPod. One more here from Shane H. Wilder, which it's not letting me. It says, "Oots people drive the trolley." That's what he said.
So true.
Burned Oil says, no crisis party again today. There was 2 crisis parties. You were not here for either of them, apparently.
The number is right there.
The number's right up. I'm like right up there in the corner. I'm pointing right at it, my friend. One more here from Corn Pop says, this is highway robbery if we make the total. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what anything Corn Pop says means.
Corey Anderson says, oots sounds like a German fart. Okay. And Pat the Plumber says, anyone got a penny? I don't know if they do or if they do not.
What are we even talking about anymore?
I have no idea. We can hang out here to see if this ends up triggering the 3rd crisis party, but we got to be getting pretty close. But I have to do IRL after this, so I'm here anyways for the rest of the night.
Who's on? Are you allowed to say?
I think Alex Stein is on tonight.
Cool.
I think. One more from No. No says, ugh, I guess. Well, there you have it. We're going to wait for these to go through. Oh, by the way, me and Chris were talking, like he's developing a new program to make the crisis meter instantaneous from the super chats, which would be very cool. That's being worked on right now to kind of, that way, like once, as soon as you got $100, it would trigger it instantly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That would have been great, you know, like years ago. But I'm glad.
I mean, he's like,
glad it's possible.
So before we were using like a third-party app, he's like building one himself. So like allowances can be made for building it from scratch. Okay. One more from Shane H. Wilder, who says loud noises. Well, yes, likely we're going to get loud noises because it's going to trigger automatically here in just a second. We could do that.
Yeah, we're at 3.
Yes.
There you have it.
Okay, here we go. I'm just gonna go. We're going for it right away. You should have seen the clip yesterday where like it went automatically on its own, like a second time. It went.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yesterday it like recycled and scheduled and went back through a second time, and Olivia had taken her headphones off and just destroyed her eardrums.
I never thought it was that loud. I mean, I know it's loud, but maybe I just heard it so many times.
Yeah. Well, no, the thing is what happened was it went through and she's like, oh, that was so loud. And then I was like, well, it's because you don't have your headphones on. And then she's like, she went to put them back on. And I'm like, well, you don't have to do that now. Like, the show's pretty much over. Like, we're not going to get another one. And then it automatically did a second one by accident. Yeah. And it just made me look like I did it on purpose. And it was, that was a brutal one, ladies and gentlemen. All right. With all of that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We will see you then. Bye. Everybody.